We are live. So thank you so much, Meg Nocero, for being here today for Well Read Magazine, Annie's Antics column. The reason that I started this column is that I choose a different author each month because I believe that they were born to shine. And it's so funny because like you use the same word, and every time I see shirts that say shine, I'm like, is that for me or is that from Meg? Like I don't know, but like one of my favorite themes is born to shimmer, born to shine. I love that song. So it comes from that, and I whoever I'm interviewing has that extra. They're an author, but then they have that extra layer that makes them like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So thank you, Meg. I really appreciate you joining me. And I choose just 10 questions for you to answer. For Of course now I lost it. I From the Proust. Have you heard of Marcel Proust?
Of course. Yeah, of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
All right, wonderful. So I don't have to explain him. To the people that don't know, the main reason that I used the Proust interview was one, I love Vanity Fair magazine, and they use it every single month. They ask a different star 35 questions, but I'm only going to ask 10. And Meg, you can say pass.
Okay.
This is like a game kind of like you say yeah pass, don't like that. You can answer half of it and say pass, and we'll just edit it out.
This is
So
definitely in line with an antic for sure.
yeah, I mean, yeah. And it's just so funny. I do have like antics that I try to get in on some shows besides like just these type of things, but I couldn't think of anything in particular for you except maybe getting your daughter to show up to sing.
Oh, I would love
But
that. I'd
wouldn't
drag her
that
in
be
here.
fun?
I'll drag her. I'll text her.
Tell her.
I'll text her.
Okay, that would be awesome.
All right, I'll ask her.
All right, great.
She owes me a song anyway. And she sang your Annie song for you.
That would be great. I don't. She doesn't have to sing any of those, but that would be a wonderful thing. Thank you. Okay, so you tell me when you can talk.
Yeah.
Oh, you can talk.
Yeah.
Okay. I do love this question, and I ask a lot of people this question because so many people have different answers to it. And the reason why I like to ask it is so many people are seeking it, and some don't know how to seek it, or if they already have it and they just don't realize it. So I think by listening to different answers, they might learn something, or we might learn from one another. And what I love about Proust is he teaches the most about a person's character.
Yeah.
But authors can also use this to learn about their own character. So this question is very interesting. What is your idea of perfect happiness?
Oh God, that's a great question, Annie. You know, it constantly changes, to be honest with you, depending on what decade I'm living. And right now,
Oh, that's true.
yeah, I think it's in my fifth decade. It's funny because I live by virtue of my checklist, and I'm sure you do too, because we all have goals, right? And when I was perhaps 30, my checklist was very different than it is now. I mean, if anyone told me that they were waiting, that I would at 53 years old want to be pregnant, I was at 30 years old, I would probably have to hit them in the face, clearly. So, I mean, no, it's very different. Like I said, the ideal happiness, or what you said, perfect happiness, right now for me. And one of the things I appreciate more than ever is being with people like you, Annie, who share a vision of the world that aligns with me. This wonderful possibility, like we were talking before, we're both manifestors. That's our jam. That's what we show up for. That's what we wake up in the morning and get to do. It's like, yay. Some days are better than others, for real, but at the end of the day, that's something wonderful that's about to happen, or we're about to manifest into our lives by virtue of taking the next best step. So I think in this particular epoch of my life, certainly perfect happiness is having conversations with people who are curious and open and excited about life, and also willing to see by different perspectives for certain. I mean, I think, especially in the I guess the
That's a good point.
atmosphere now, right? Or take the, temperature of what's going on right now. Many people are less willing to expand their horizons because
Yes.
of, I think, a desire to hold on to what they know or believe to be true, rather than step out of their comfort zone and see other people where they stand. And I think that is really something that makes me so happy, is when I'm with people who get into that conversation of, wow, I can actually, benefit from your perspective and see through your eyes. So, it's more freeing for sure, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I have to interrupt you because two things. One, I belong to a community solidarity group.
Ooh, I love it.
Where we all try to learn about different religions, races, all the different things. And so you can learn compassion and empathy. That's the point. Oh. But the thing that's funny is, this always comes at me with my trying to heal myself. I do things from all different religions. People are like, what are you doing? Like, but I make sure everything's positive. Like, somebody in India had their guru send me Fubuti.
Yeah.
The ash. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, but I looked him up. She runs a book club in India, she's in a nunnery. Like, I don't know. I felt very safe. Everything. So I'm taking pieces of different practices and putting them all together, because I believe as a whole, we are really all the same.
I agree. And definitely connected. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely connected. And if we all were like accepting it, like that Spanish kid.
Yes, you're
like that in my lawn, and then his whole youth group comes flowing towards my front lawn, and I'm like, they're singing with fruit baskets and flowers because they wanted to heal me, and they were all from Ecuador.
Wow.
I think two of them spoke English. It was a beautiful thing. Yeah. And that, to me, that's pure happiness, when you see people getting along. And I know I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
No, but to your point, Annie, a beautiful thing that I'm realizing, as I get older, is the karmic the give and take, the exchange of, giving and receiving. It's that full circle. So we, as givers, most of us who basically are always like generous of spirit, generosity of spirit, sometimes we forget to be on the receiving end. And it's important as well to be on that end, because the people who are giving need
yes.
Us. So I love what you just said. And that's perfect happiness. What is that? Like that wonderful feeling of, you get the goosebumps, you feel loved, and actually being able to receive the love is a healing process as well. And I love that you said that.
It was amazing. Like 15 of the dog rescue people came, and some of my other friends. We were all bawling, and we didn't know what they were saying. That's awesome. It was just so beautiful, and the neighbors came out. It was like, these people really want me to get better. And I went to bed that night, and I said, I'm not going to let myself die. That's it. I'm just not, because I don't want to upset Jose.
For Jose.
Then I found out his I'm supposed to say his name, Josue.
Josue.
I didn't know there was it's Josue, so it's Josue, but I didn't know that. So I find that's really cool that you say that. That's one more story I must tell.
No, I could just picture you like, what, like, it didn't matter what they were saying. You felt that energy of love coming at you.
But you feel, it's like at an opera. You don't know what they're saying, but you're,
wow.
Energy. Ava can do that.
It's really interesting. One of the things my daughter said, she's 14 and she's been singing since she was 6 years old, even beforehand. The kid's been singing her whole life. And what she said to me is after she performed in an audition when she was 6 for Annie, she left there and she was bawling. And I was like, oh my Lord, what happened to you? And she said, I'm so happy. And I said, why? She goes, Mommy, I felt like I was doing something and putting out to the world that'll make other people happy.
Oh, I love her.
It was, but to understand that through what they say, through the mouths of babes, right? The children speak, it was just so precious to be able to be in the presence of a kid understanding that experience, having that, and through a talent she has, one of her strengths, and she's a wonderful singer. And I'm biased clearly, but
no, she is amazing.
You just sit back and you're just like, wow, what a gift she's giving others, but yet she's receiving too. And like you said, like in opera, when you sit in the theater and you feel like there's that wonderful, like what the megahertz of vibrations that come at you from that. And just like, it changes your body composition sometimes, it feels.
Yeah, I won tickets from the radio. I saw, go to the opera. So nobody wanted to go with me. And then finally I convinced somebody to go if I bought them like a shrimp dinner or whatever. So we go, and here we both are. I was like, now you owe me a shrimp dinner because you loved this opera, but it was a big joke. But it was a Puccini. I don't know which one, but I mean, I would know if I saw it again. But oh my God, it's supposed to be one of his best. But
yeah, maybe Tosca. Tosca's a Puccini, and she sings about. There's a song that I actually was listening to when I was writing my memoir, and it's about how her life. What meaning does her life have? And it's all like, and it's just this, this feeling, you just feel her emoting on stage. And it's just like the arias are just outrageous.
What is it called?
I think it's a Puccini, it's Tosca. And if I had my book with me, I would know.
Well, I'm just going to look it up. I'll find out.
Yeah. I'm wondering. So it's actually, it was, and I remember, it's funny because, as an author yourself now, you contemplate a lot what you write, and different things come back. And I think that sometimes when we play certain music, that it reminds us of certain times and it brings us back. And your book is all the music that's being listed now.
You and I are totally twins.
Yeah.
Because
I'm your older sister, honey, right?
yeah, by what, a minute? But seriously, people say, what happens if you get writer's block? Music. What do you do if you're tired? Music. Just everything's music. It's always about the music. And I'll put like 4 words that I'm feeling to see what songs come up.
I love it.
And then you find songs that like you didn't know existed before.
So what is your favorite song, Annie? What is something that when you hear it, it just gives you
Come on, May. Come on, May.
Right, from
in Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Because she's dying.
Yeah.
Her man knows it.
Yeah.
And she's saying, whatever happens, happens. It's okay. I've led a good life. And like, that's how I feel. I mean, and then like she's choking or whatever. And that happens to me at night.
Wow.
And it's getting worse. Like, that's why I was on the phone with my speech pathologist tonight. And it just reminds me so much of my illness is not her illness, but it feels similar because she's like, and that's how I feel.
Well, to that point, I love the notion of that we all have soundtracks to our life, right?
Yes.
It's great because when you're walking the road and you're like, what music is playing behind you to catapult you forward, to keep you going so you don't give up in life and that resilience comes out.
I have other ones. Unstoppable.
Oh, that's a good
one. This girl is on fire.
Oh, good one. Oh, yeah.
So, what about you?
Oh my God. So, it's funny. At the end of my Camino walk, I was like, it was rap music the whole time. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. And I was
I can see that.
I was like rocking to that, it was like, one stop. From Eminem's song, One Shot. You got one shot
Oh yes, yeah, that's a good
for
one.
your chance to. And I was like, this is your opportunity. You're going to show. And I was like, that's
Oh,
right. No one's taking me down, man. I'm like, I
yeah,
might be in pain. Life is kicking me in the booty, but I'm moving. And there's a soundtrack playing. And if it's on the big picture, because we all authored, we always imagine ourselves being,
in
in
this movie. Yep.
movie, right? So whatever is unfolding around us, it all comes into that particular soundtrack that's playing. And I love, 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 love. One of my favorite things is to listen to the orchestra and how the composer comes up with the music that aligns with the different movies, and how much, I mean, when we listen to Star Wars, what do we hear? Bum, 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 bum. The whole music, it all takes us back.
What about Last of the Mohicans?
Oh my God.
I
Oh my
mean,
God.
you're literally, like you're either like in love, or you're terrified,
Oh, that's
or
great.
you're
Yeah.
shaking in your boot. It's just that's so powerful.
But
Dancing with the Wolves.
oh my God, like all of the, like Hans Zimmer, like when he sits down, like he is the composer.
I'm grabbing my chest, by the way.
Oh,
Okay.
you,
So I'm grabbing. I just want people to know, since this is like not going to be seen. I just want people to know I'm grabbing my chest. This is serious talk.
no, it is, because could you imagine? And each of us, if we really contemplate, we are the maestro of our own lives, right? We are the one who conducts the symphony, brings in the timpanis, brings in the bass,
Do you have an instrument that will make you feel sorrow or will make you feel happy?
Oh, absolutely. The violin, I weep. When they
I
play the
weep
violin, I
fellow, yeah.
weep. I weep. The harp, the strings. Yes, it's like, yes, grab your chest. It is that,
Yes.
it just has, how it just slower, and it just brings you out, and you're just like, oh my God. Oh, like Lord. And then I do love the drums. I love,
Oh, yes, I do too.
yeah, don't boom, boom, boom. I love that.
I mean, I love them all.
I do too.
But like the cello, to me, I feel like that thing has a soul in it.
Yeah.
And it's weeping and crying the whole time to get out.
It is.
And it's just like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And I read a book by Alison Ragsdale. I think it was Dignity and Grace.
Ooh.
Or Grace and Dignity. I can't remember. Dignity and Grace, I think. But the girl stopped using her cello. I'm not going to tell you why. But it's in the corner of the room, and it's sad.
Yeah.
And she comes in and she throws a shirt on it. And I start hysterically crying. And Allison's not trying to make this cello a person, but it becomes such a huge character in the book.
Yeah.
I think that's so strange when authors can do that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like an appendage, it's a part of you. It's a part of your, and you turn your back from, it's like, and also with regard to like people in your life, when they are part of your life and so intimately involved, and then you have to turn your back for whatever reason, you separate, your paths go different ways. It feels the same as that, but that's beautiful if the author can bring us into this relationship with the instrument, this instrument that is brought to life by virtue of her abilities. And
right. It's so cool.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool. But that is true about the whole friendship thing, because there's friends that you just move away from. But when something tragic happens to make your friendship end, that's very hard to deal with. And music helps me with that a lot.
Yeah.
Music helps me with a lot of things. I listen to music that like grounding.
Yeah.
And then I listen, up, the heart chakra music, because and it knows it's the right tempo and sound to ground you, to make you happier, so it can actually work. And one of my friends, she told me, and you have to get all your chakras moving, so your body's working. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to all of them, and I'm seeing Ooh, the orange thing is swirling.
It's
Okay, the
spinning. It's
red thing is
spinning.
swirling. It's spinning. Everything's spinning. And then I'd get up and be like, what should I do? Like, it really, really works.
It
But
really works.
that comes from music that's just strange. I find it strange when music has no words, but it has more power over us.
Yeah.
I find that very strange. But, I think even when we're listening to it, we're thinking of words because we're authors, we're readers. So we're making up a story.
We are.
We might not know it yet, but we're definitely making up a story. So I love that.
Well, I'll write you into my chapters any day of the week, Annie, for
Oh
sure.
my God, you're so sweet. I think I might have you written in a chapter in my book. I don't know. You'd have to read it. I think you did read it. Okay. I don't want to use. Tonight I'm not. I don't want to use anything because there's some negative questions or saying questions in here. So I'm gonna only ask positive. So I asked you one question. Okay, which living person do you most admire? Doesn't have to be a famous person.
Yeah.
And that I have to remind everybody of that when I'm asking the question because they automatically think the person has to be famous, but they don't.
Well, what comes to mind first and foremost is my father. I more than, for me, he's the most famous.
Well,
Intrinsically, he was one of the first cardiologists in the state of Florida to do the balloon and work in the nuclear field. So in that respect,
I have him in my throat.
Did you really?
Jugular.
Oh, wow. Wow, amazing, right? Amazing. Like they didn't have to.
That's because of your dad. Oh my God.
My dad. So he is one of the, the innovators behind that. But as a person, he's always been such an incredible inspiration to me and my sisters, and especially when he lost his wife, my mother, in 2011. It'll be 12 years come this April.
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy because at many times you think, for me, this is my mother. It almost flattened me. This is his best friend, his girlfriend since 15 years old. And yeah, and they were 45 years married and then another, 6 years as a couple. So, and he was, his early 70s when she passed away, and he still had a excitement for life. And through the sadness, and I always said this, I said, I can't give up on me. I have to look at my inspirations and see him. And I see him going on, with this really heavy, separation, let's say, well, only in this world. Obviously, we believe beyond the veil, they're still with us. We were talking about how
you and I do for sure.
Stepmom is on the moon tonight as she sits on the full moon watching over all of us. But the reality is that habits are hard. Habits die hard. And when we are habituated with another person for so many years, that literally becomes an appendage of yours, like someone who's your sidekick or your other, your other mind. Like it is true.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that, he started over again. He opened up his own cardiology practice after 45 years with that as well. So he kept going. And, whenever I ever feel like the world is too heavy and I'm going to give up because I'm having my own little temper tantrum or pity party, and, it's maybe merited. I might, because I'm a human being, I feel very strong.
It's important that people that are like mentors to people, that we admit that we have bad days too.
Oh, and when they're bad, as a fellow Sag, we know how bad.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because whatever you do good, you can do the opposite just as good.
Help us, right? But the reality is when you see people, moving through that, whatever that is, and continuing, that they have a purpose and a calling, and the bray of their heart is speaking to them, and it definitely has you. Like I said before,
You can keep talking. I'm just.
Oh, like I said before, it has you, looking through someone else's eyes, their perspective wise, and it has you perhaps, think, hey, I can do this too. I can do this too. And that's really like especially when people, write memoir, you, Annie, yours is coming out soon. It's it's a sharing of the vulnerability of the experience so that other people feel like because of you, they aren't going to give up. Because of you, because of me, because of whoever they come in contact with, there's a spark that's still there and that they hold on to until they're strong enough to do it for someone else, which is that beautiful, karmic,
Give back.
which is
Yep.
beautiful. But my dad would be that person because he is so intelligent. Like he was the first one, since we were talking about opera, symphony, he was the one who introduced us to all of that. He loves music. He loves all kinds of music, but he took us to the opera when we were little, when we,
Oh.
of course, they have the translations now streaming on.
Yeah.
We had to
Who
watch.
wants
Yeah,
to watch that?
you have to watch it. Yeah. We used to prepare for it. So we used to sit with the records, remember the records, and we had to listen to it with the words so we knew the story, so that when of course we rolled our eyes the whole time, being, children and not really interested until later on in life, appreciating all of the gifts that our parents give us. It usually is that way, right? If that is the case. So I would say definitely, as far as people who, who I emulate and perhaps I want to be, who are alive, yeah, it would be my father.
I love how you have that it's your father. That's a really beautiful thing, and I love how you say yes. He lost my mother, but he still moved. He still lived. He still moved on, and well, not moved on per se, but he still kept living and was happy. I think that's found happiness again. Uh, I love that because when my stepmom was passing away, everyone knows I was her caregiver. But like, and I tell everybody, she always says, Annie, you make dying fun. And I'm sorry. That's going to be my last word, something like that. Annie, you make dying fun. I'll never forget that. But that's because I had training at hospice. So every time I saw her, we always had like a project. So we weren't concentrating on the fact that she wasn't going to be here.
Yeah.
Or was she doing everything that she wanted to do or say to someone? So I love your answer to that question, being your father. And because not a lot of people do that anymore now, it seems. People will be like, yo, it's Mike, I don't know, some rapper. The guy who raps about the dryers of the laundromat.
Jesus.
People will say him, or people like that. Which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I love that it's someone in your family, Meg. That's really nice. I think you would name everyone in your family if you had the chance, because I know what you love about each person in your family. I know that, and that speaks volumes for you, because
yeah, don't get me wrong, they drive me crazy. I mean, we're Italian, for God's sake.
No, but you share what you love about your kids, your husband, everyone a lot, which is a beautiful thing. That was one of the things I liked about you a lot. Besides the fact that we both had some things in common already. Okay. What is your greatest extravagance?
Oh Lord, my husband would say everything because apparently my bills were like, meet me where I find them. Extravagance. Oh, what do I love? Well, I have to say my tiaras, certainly, but I wouldn't say.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, come on. It's so funny. I love bling, right? We love bling. We like fun and pretty, and there's nothing that makes me feel better than to have some sort of bling, fun and pretty, all of the above. And when I was a kid, I used to want to design like couture dresses. I wanted to create ball gowns, and I wanted to like put the whole get up together. I still have it in my mind. I used to do it for my prom dresses. I would design them and I would have it one of our.
Oh my God, you were a
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
pink girl.
I totally am. Although I wasn't able to actually sew it and cut the piece, but I know enough to be dangerous. But for me, gorgeous dresses and the silk and the fabrics and it's just a fantasy, like a fairy tale. Like it's the beautiful, delicate roses that would be the extra. Like I used to go to galas all the time with my grandparents. And yeah, it was just, oh, you want my tiara? So yeah.
Oh no, I'm
No.
saying me too.
Oh, you too. No, it
Yeah,
was
like on New Year's Eve,
yes.
there's this big, huge restaurant at Eisenhower Park on Long Island. For years, I went there for New Year's, for different events, and I always had to wear glorious dresses, gloves. Like I just always felt gorgeous, and I loved getting on the train on New Year's Eve in the freezing cold in this gown, like because we didn't want to drive drunk or whatever. It was just so. I agree with what you're saying, but now it's
romantic. It's not romantic like but romantic notion of.
But you can be romantic with yourself.
Oh, absolutely, or an evening out, and I think it's interesting that. I believe this to be true. And we were talking about this earlier. When you put some red lipstick on, you dress up, do your hair lovely, and you wear a gown and your tiara, you hold yourself differently. And I think that when you hold yourself differently, you receive your experience is different. You receive from the world differently. And, I was very happy that my mother was alive when I got married. We got to go dress shopping for my wedding dress, and I found in a trunk show my Vera Wang, and I have a Vera Wang, and I was like, but then we made it a little bit more into something that I would love. So it had the very thin material covering, and I cut it out, and I took the straps on and embroidered some additional pearls and Swarovski crystals in it. So I gave it my added flair. I didn't desecrate the Vera, but it was definitely such a romantic.
Oh, it's such a beautiful dress. I remember.
Yeah. So I would say one of my extravagances. Certainly, I love Fun and Pretty for sure.
All right, so you're gonna laugh. Well, it's not funny. I don't think. I just wrote about Carmela and I, that's my stepmom, going out to get my dress because she was making it. And it was, well, that was the plan. She didn't. But it was it's like a princess bride dress. White princess bride dress. Dawn Reno Langley, the author, she had the same exact dress in blue. I said, "Oh my God, is that from a McCall's pattern?" She said, "Yes." I said, "You're wearing my wedding dress."
Oh, that's awesome.
It was unbelievable. So I finally felt like I got to see somebody wear my wedding dress, which was cool.
Yeah.
It felt very cool. But it ended up my father and her were breaking up. So he said, "She can't make your dress. She can't go to the wedding." Ban. But anyway, so I went and got this other dress, and they show up with this big poofy, blingy, which I love bling, but pink bling, which I love, but I didn't ever want that on my dress.
Yeah.
I was 38 getting married, so like I didn't want to be over the top. So she says, "Listen, you said that you really wanted your stepmother to make the dress and you wanted a princess gown. I feel like if I give you a princess gown, it's going to be an injustice. So try this on. It's totally different princess dress, but I think you'll love it." I put it on and I loved it. We got it. Tom's grandma bought it for me, and that was that. One dress. And it's all because, the lady hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I didn't need to get a dress like Carmela was going to make for me. I needed a different dress.
Yeah.
But that dress is gorgeous, and we're making it into dresses and little suits for children that are stillborn.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's
And 4 handkerchiefs from 2 of my nephews
oh,
for
wow.
their wedding day.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, so
Yeah.
sentimental. I love it. I love it.
But yeah, I think that's a good use. I don't have like an Ava to pass it on to.
I would be. We used to watch Project Runway together, and I like basically told her, "Don't you touch my wedding dress?
Yeah,
Don't you dare cut up my wedding
start
dress."
putting like other things on it like I did.
Yeah, no,
Don't be like me. That's so funny.
I'd be like,
And I want you to know, extravaganza is one of my favorite words. And I say that because I have extravaganza.
I love it.
And you have extravaganza too.
For sure.
Not everybody does. Okay.
I love so on one of my favorite evenings, but besides, the Oscars is the Tonys. I love to watch it because it's all the glamour and all the, it's Hollywood.
It's like old Hollywood.
Yes,
right?
Thank you. Yes, and it is so, I personally love more of the old Hollywood, the traditional, like the like very simple,
like the Judy Garlands.
Oh yes, beautiful, like beautiful. Oh my gosh, I watched Gigi, that movie. Remember Gigi back in the days? Like
yes,
how they would walk in with
and have hats on,
Like, God, this is great. It's like something that just like makes me get excited. I wonder if this is my one of my reincarnations in the past, or
well. It's funny because I love learning about World War II stuff, and I am addicted to World War II stuff because, like, an author sent me these old postcards.
Oh, that's so cool.
With a feather because of the shaman stuff. She sent these to me because she collects them. Well, one of them's written on it.
Oh,
and damn Skippy, if every night I don't call 2 people asking if they're one of these people.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because I'm going to find them. Because a lot of the Moors survived the Holocaust.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm going to find them.
You're going to find them.
I
have no doubt.
It's the last thing I do. But anyway, the point is, like, the World War II, I've been told by psychics that I was a female pilot.
Wow.
And 2 different ones, and I know this is wrong, but they say you're the girl kissing the sailor in that dress.
Did they say that?
Yes, but 2 different ones.
I could totally see you do that.
Don't you see me doing that?
Around the possibility.
And it could be like some dude I never knew. Because on New Year's, I was in the city, and I kissed some guy at New Year's.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, we hung out all day for like 15 hours. I knew him long enough to kiss him for New Year's Eve.
That's awesome.
But, I mean, it was weird that you said that. So I do believe I could be from that era.
I love that. That's exciting. I think that it's something when you feel like a knowing. I don't dismiss those kind of things. I don't believe that anything's a coincidence. I do believe in synchronicity, and I think that the wonderful Mary Oliver poem that I love so much is living a conscious life. Pay attention, be astonished, and tell all about it. So when I'm walking through my world and this rendition of Meg, I've always like taking in a lot of information, and if something is really kind of resonates with me, then that is something that I literally will write down, because it is something that just causes me to take pause, and like, wow, this could be like, oh my God, like deja vu, right? The deja vu.
I'm the same way. Yes. Yeah. I'm the same exact way.
It's so cool, Annie.
Oh, it's so weird. Cool. And I love, well, I think you're the coolest chick. It's like, I could watch you forever. My favorite is, we got 3 minutes to go, people. And we are going to talk about the best thing that you've ever heard. It's just like, okay, amen, I'm there. Like, it's like, and like literally you'll say, or we have a minute to go. And I'm like, what? I could never do that. It would overstimulate me.
It's like, no, stop. Time. No. Well, the thing is, with me, I could talk forever and ever and ever and ever, because especially with people that resonate with me.
Like me.
Yeah. Exactly, because the conversation flows and there's so much to discuss because you have a different perspective perhaps, and you've seen the world a different way, and we share, the contemplation and the, kind of excitement of, oh, that's because you, like, for instance, okay, like, we both love drag queens, and I know this is probably
Yeah.
something that you didn't, but we love, it's just so much large extravaganza, larger,
Yes.
where I mean, let me tell you, before I got married, like, I literally went to a makeup, practice with someone who designs or does makeup for drag queens.
Oh,
Like,
I can
it
get
wasn't me.
that.
I didn't need so much makeup because they were like, I didn't have a beard at the time. So it was like, yeah, you don't need to cover, that thick. But I was like, it wasn't beyond me to go and do it, for a certain, and the eyes and the dramatic flair and, all of the stylish and the different name. I love that. It's
and
like
the way they can make you look different.
yes.
I used to live with two.
Oh, I love it.
But like, we didn't know that when they moved in. They worked as waiters at a restaurant I was managing, and me and Crystal lived together. And then these two guys were like, "We need a place to live desperately. We just got kicked out. And do you know anyone?" We were like, "We have an extra room. You can stay in, no problem." So that night, they're both in the bathroom, both, and we hear all this stuff going on, and they come out in heels and dresses, and we're like,
Oh my
"What's going on? Who are you people?" They're like, "We're drag queens," and we were like, "What?" Like, that's what they did at night. We had no idea.
Oh, I love
So
it.
like, we were like, "All right, cool. So you're dressing us up tomorrow because it's Saturday and we have dates." Like, that's how it went down.
Oh, and they're like, "Oh, honey, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
honey, no,
problem.
not
Do you
that."
want to? Yeah, do you want to be a redhead? Because you see that. I mean, I was always called I was called Strawberry for a long time
Oh, really?
because my hair goes like strawberry blonde in the summer, or it used to.
Yeah.
It doesn't anymore, but that's what got me into having red hair.
I love it.
Was that?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
I
That's
loved it. And they always say, "Oh, you look so good." There's a good book coming out about drag queens, but I can't say by who.
okay. Well, I can tell you this, my daughter loves to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and one of the
I
things
do too.
we share together, right? And I took her in May of 2000, I believe it was 19. We went out to California, went to RuPaul's Drag Race.
No.
Yeah, so she got to meet Gia Gunn. She was meeting, RuPaul was there DJing, and I can tell you that my daughter was dressed up in a butterfly, and I was like, "You have to dress up. I can't wear that. You have to wear that." So we went, and you should have seen, all the people there came up to us and said, "Thank you. Thank you for raising someone who has an open mind as to, other people, what they do." And it was completely G-rated. It wasn't inappropriate at all. They were all so amazing to us, and it was just like, kind of, what I love more about you, and this is a wonderful quality. One of the words I do think about when I think about you, Annie, is acceptance. Like, I mean, really, it's like, it's a beautiful thing when you accept someone where they are, where they're coming from, and what they enjoy, and how their expression of their creative art. This is art. That's a artistic expression of something. I mean, that they're so eloquent, and they're so just amazing, and that's art. That is all art. It
is.
RuPaul always says we're all born naked and the rest is drag. So
yes.
there you
Can
go.
I get an amen up in here? Amen. Like, I love RuPaul too. I think Tom does too, because he's always in here checking stuff out. And I'm dying for the next season. Is there going to be another one? I don't know. I love Michelle Visage.
Oh, I love
even when she's yelling at everyone.
She's always yelling at everyone.
But it's like, and then I like fall in love with the dance.
God.
Some of the contestants.
Holy God.
Hello. Okay, sorry. Hold on. There's a guy from Miami.
Oh.
That I'm dying to see. I can't remember his name.
Oh my God, you have to tell me what her name is so we can like go.
Oh, what is her? Oh my God. Oh my God, I gotta look it up. Hold on. Because I just want to look up most famous. Roxy. Yeah. He was with Relaxataz. So Alaska, Detox. Roxy.
Well, there's one Vanier. Remember Vanier? But she's from Bronx, I think.
Yes, yes, I do. Yeah.
Vanier. Vanier.
Roxy Andrews.
Roxy Andrews. And she lives in Miami.
Yes, and I was like, I told my friend Susan, she moved to Florida. We're no longer talking, but she well, she told me I should go out in the backyard and shoot myself.
Oh, lovely. Glad you didn't
because I get so many tests.
Oh man.
I mean, look at how, I mean, she's crying, but she's
beautiful. Look at her. So pretty. Oh yeah.
And I mean, this is so dumb, but I love her butt.
Annie.
But like, I like his. You feel me? I think he's so cute as a boy.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
And I think he's gorgeous as a girl. Yeah. So it's like, oh God. But yeah, I love him. But I said, look, Roxy Andrews is in Miami. It's only like whatever hours from where you live. So we must go see him.
Okay. We're on a mission. I'm on a mission.
All right, we must be because Susan already. I can't go with her.
I got to write it down so I don't forget this person. So there you
go. If I saw Roxy Andrews, I think that might be the day I could die.
Oh Roxy, baby. Roxy, no, we don't want Annie going anywhere, but it could be in like one of those like
No,
like
look,
surreal.
Well, it's like this. If I'm gonna end up having to lay in the bed all day, just take me in the backyard. I don't want to do that. I can't do that.
Yeah, I hear you. I know.
But yeah, I want to meet Roxy Andrews. But I couldn't believe that here I was looking up, like, where could I go to meet this guy? Like, I'm like a nut job for him.
Oh where does she perform? Did she perform something? Like we used to have like a restaurant here on Lincoln Road. It was like a Chinese restaurant where it was like drag. They have a drag afternoon. It was so much fun. It was just so much fun. You know, it was like I think
they don't say. Okay,
these all right. I know. I'm gonna have to do some.
Roxy Andrews performs.
I'll have to do some reconnaissance.
Oh yeah, like it doesn't because everything says Drag Race first.
Okay.
Party Detroit, but I know he's in Miami.
Okay, well I'm gonna have to get on that.
Angel City Continental.
Oh, I don't know what that is. All right. Got some info.
You know what? I'm gonna try to call him later and I'll
Why not? Well, you know, if you go on Instagram, you can look them up and then you can message them.
But you know what's funnier is like I always was in love with this James Holland. He's the #1 World War II historian because I love World War II.
Yeah.
And he's really cute. And I was like, ooh, he's coming out with this Sicily 43 book. I interviewed Marco Raffaella 2 years ago. I loved his book. How Fires End. It's about how his family survived Sicily 43. Maybe I can get them both to talk at the same time with me. So I go to James Holland's Facebook page and it has his phone number.
Oh, Jesus.
So what does Annie do? I don't use third person. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
I hate when people do that. Yeah. But I literally dialed the number. I'm like, hello, this is Annie McDonald with the right review. And just what I told you. And I said, this is my phone number. I hope you'll call me back because I think this conversation would be $1 million. He calls me back like an hour later. He's like, let's do it. But in between that hour, I wrote to Marco Raffaella. I was like, by the way, I called James Holland to see if he would interview with us. And he goes, yeah, good luck with that.
Oh, wow.
Because, like, he's James Holland.
Yeah.
He does documentaries for PBS, National Geographic, Discovery. He did Hunting Hitler. Like, he's crazy. But it ended up, we did the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
And all of a sudden I go, oh, my God, I can talk about World War II. Like, I know it. You know, like, I was up in that conversation. And I was like, yes. But anyway, the point is, like, you'll be surprised that some people do have their phone number out there.
Yeah.
You just never know.
You know what? I do believe in the great ask, believe, and receive. If you do not ask, you will not get. So clearly, if the information comes to you and you see it, then it's a gift from the universe to
Yes.
actually take the next step and not just say, oh, no, 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 that can't be serious. No, 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 that's not serious. Yes, it is serious.
Like, yeah,
And yes,
you're so right. You're so right. Oh
and
my
plus,
God.
you will see this, Annie, when you're out there, promoting your book.
Which
I
I'm scared.
love to talk to people who are really interested in what I've curated, right? So what creative has flowed through me. So, if someone is excited and interested, especially you said World War II is your jam, how exciting would it be for me? Like, what kind of energy lift would it be for me to have those conversations? So, like, let's say when I talk about my memoir or Magical Guide to Bliss, and people are really interested and they want to get that zing, it catapults me to another level where I feel a renewed excitement toward something that I have created. So it's this beautiful, like, back to the energy exchange. And certainly he probably loved that. He probably was like, let's do this. Yeah.
We had so much fun. But, and the other thing that he did, my speech pathologist and he came out with a tank book. I felt, all right, I stalk him, okay? So he comes out with the tank book, not in a way like, ooh, I love him, but he just always,
No.
he's very smart. He's teaching all the time, blah blah blah. So, and he is cute to look at, but and to talk to. But he did it. He released a book on the tank wars.
Wow.
And my speech pathologist said to me, he's a doctor, Dr. Amato. I said, I'm having a bad day today. I said, why? He's like, well, I lost my father 10 years ago today, or 2 years ago, whatever it was today. Yeah. And I said, oh, gee. I said, we could have canceled today. No big deal. So I said, well, tell me a story about your father. So he says, okay. And he tells me how his father was in the tank wars, but like nobody wrote about him. Nobody made a movie about this, and blah, blah, blah. And I think he died during the tank wars.
Wow.
That's what I think happened, but I didn't catch that till later. So I say to him, oh, you'll never guess what? I know this man named James Holland. He's the World War II historian. And he just came out with the Tank Wars book today.
Wow.
And he's like, really? Oh, I got to order this book. He's like, da-da-da. I said, no, I'll get you the book. I'll try, I will get you the book. So, because I know his publicist, his publisher, and him. Well, I wrote to him and he wrote back right away. Wow. And said, oh, tell me that his address. And it's on my Facebook page. He wrote this is dedicated to your father. I mean, I was bawling my eyes out. So I give it to him. He wasn't there. I was like, crap. But I said, okay, I'll leave it there. His daughter calls me and says, Annie, you made my dad cry. He hasn't stopped crying all night. I said, oh my God, that was not my intention. He's like, no.
Good cry.
He can't believe that you did this for him. Wow. So it was more important to him because it was signed with such luxurious words towards his father, who he obviously loves. So I am their VIP.
Oh my God.
And they remind me of that all the time. But I didn't really do anything. You
were a channel. I think that you were a channel. Like, you actually listened to this man when he was having a really hard day, which is one of the things that I love most about you, is that you're an empath. You actually gave him the space to share his pain. And in doing so, you were able to link to another event that was going on the same day that would have not only him feeling like he had a link to his father, but recognizing his father because of what the author wrote. I mean, that's the magic of life, right, Annie? That's what we're all in it for. Like, it's right. You couldn't have planned that for.
No. And I didn't know what was in it because he wrapped it.
Oh, wow.
Like in tissue paper. So, and it was, in a bag. So I just gave it to him, and
amazing.
I was just in shock. So we took pictures, and or it ends up that his daughter is his receptionist, and I didn't know that for the 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I feel so bad for Jamie. She has her COVID. I hope she's doing better. Yeah, and he's like, oh, she's great. She's doing really great at home. I said,
How do you know?
wait,
You're like,
is that your wife?
oh,
And
that's
he's like, no, it's my daughter.
oh my
I was like,
God.
I didn't know that Jamie was your daughter. He's like,
Wow.
you didn't know that? I was like, no. He's like, that's so weird because you're like part of the family. Like,
Yeah.
how did you find? But anyway, yeah, it's just So yeah, I mean, you can be the channel, and it is about listening to people and what people need. I always try to get my husband stuff he needs, but it's like it never works, man.
Well, going back to what you did and what we all try to do if we're really being cognizant or intentional, one of my favorite words, is that you make someone else feel really special and that they matter and that they have meaning in this world and purpose in this world. What this gentleman did for the author did for your speech pathologist. And it changes a person. It's like you walk the earth, like you're not just, random. Someone actually that you hold in high esteem took the time to make you feel something that is magical. And I think that one of the most beautiful things I think in life is when you get an opportunity to do something like that,
Yes.
you do it.
That feels so good. But you know what? I could be in the middle of like the biggest project and be like, yo, Meg, I gotta go. And because like I gotta fly on over here because somebody needs a yellow tulip now. Like I'm just saying, like I would be like I almost get a little loosey goosey in the head because somebody needs something and I have to get it to them, you know.
Well, a lot of people have that sixth sense that they don't pay attention to, that higher
I pay
intuition.
attention to mine.
If someone needs a tulip and it's coming through that they need a tulip, you go damn well get that tulip for that person because
I believe, yes.
I'm like, okay, go do it. You are on a mission and you have no idea what that means to the other person. Like I sit there and sometimes like, okay, this is strange, but okay, fine, I'm going to do it. Just, pay attention, it's a beautiful thing. And then you hear later this story that you could not make up if you were like,
right. That's so funny. I love how you say it's strange, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. Sometimes it's like, yeah, this is really strange, but I'm going to go do it. I'm going to do it anyway. And that's so true. And I wish I could think, I hope I think of something before we go because I definitely do things that are strange, but sometimes they fall flat. People don't care,
Well, even talking about when we first met, Annie, like this immediate understanding that, oh my God, this person, I know this person. Like I just met you, but I know this person. And the understanding that, oh my God, this, like you would love a tiara. I didn't know you from Adam, but like, yes.
Oh my God.
And and then you're
I wear that thing.
It's beautiful.
I know.
It's like it was you. It's you.
I love it. I love it. At first, I didn't even know it was butterflies on
it.
Yes, because I thought it was just bling, and then I was like, it's butterflies. Oh my God! It's funny. You do always believe you're gonna like find your prince, become a queen, wear the tiara, and I grew up in love with the royal family. I mean, we lived in Ireland as kids. I was in Ireland when Princess Diana was married. Wow. It was always a big thing to me. That's why Andrew Morton was another guy I had to interview. Yeah, and I didn't stop bugging that man. That poor guy. It was like, did you see? I saw the hand of Harry on, like, I'm trying to explain that it could be the stupidest little thing.
Yeah.
About the royal family. And I'd say, did you know that?
Like
and it's like, and then finally he's like, okay, call my publicist.
I love it. I think that's awesome.
But like, I wouldn't stop.
Persistence. She was on a roll.
Well, it doesn't work for everybody. I can't get Terry McMillan. I can't get Nicholas Sparks. And I can't get
Nicholas Sparks is a Notre Dame graduate, right? University of Notre Dame graduate, or Villanova? Which one? He's one of those.
I think it's Villanova.
Okay, so he might, if he ever shows up in Villanova, my sisters and I, we all, because my mother was so intent on putting us in Catholic colleges. My oldest sister went to Villanova. Her 2 young sons go to Villanova. I went to Boston College, and my youngest sister went to Notre Dame. So there's always somebody, certainly all, she was the trifecta, we call it the trifecta.
That's definitely it. Yes.
Yeah. But
that's really cool.
Nicholas
Like at my school, my college, like they have Dean Kane.
Oh yeah.
As a teacher,
right, yes.
in whatever they're called, and the Steve
it's High Point, right? High Point.
They have a whole bunch of people there. Yeah. I mean, it's like ridiculous. I don't know if I would feel. I don't want to say anything bad about it because I love High Point University.
Yeah.
But I liked when it was High Point College, and there was nothing there but brick buildings and kids.
Yeah.
Like we loved it, and we all say we wouldn't change a thing from when we were there. Although we like to go visit as adults, they say. Yeah. So I didn't go to this last reunion, or homecoming weekend, which is when they do the reunion, but because I didn't know how I was going to keep up with people.
Oh yeah.
I can't even keep up with like one friend. It's so hard. But anyway, okay. So I need to ask you another question, and I had it. Hold on. Which one was it? Hold on. I don't want to ask you that.
Ava's.
Okay, what is your most treasured possession?
Oh God, that's a great question. Like something that I own?
Yes, it has.
Because I would say my most treasured possession, which they would argue with me, are my children, but I don't own them. So clearly they're their own people, but they're my treasure.
Yeah, but I think you could say it in your own right.
Well, they're my treasures. Yeah, for certain.
Yeah.
My kids are my treasures. My son, we used to always call him, Michael, the warrior, the love warrior, because, his name is Michael Anthony, right? Saint Michael is, the warrior protector. And we used to say he is the heart warrior. He protects others' hearts. He's such a heart-centered individual and a leader. And he's just a wonderful human being. And then my daughter, on the other hand, she is my little poof of magic. When she came out, she was singing, and even in the delivery room, and she used to say that she had healing hands, that when she touched people, then she could heal them. And when she was a little kid,
that's interesting.
Let me tell you, if my child thinks she's a healer, then I would say, yay, that's my treasured possession. But
yeah.
But I will say, and then of course my dogs. I would say that would be like my animals.
I agree.
Love my dogs, so they would definitely come a very, 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 very close. I wouldn't even say second, first.
They're in there.
I call them my animal guides because I think that we choose them and they protect us and they walk with us in that wonderfully wonderful lifespan, but too short, definitely too short. And terribly too short, but the love that you get, unconditional love that you get from them, and I know you love your dogs so much, and
no,
not at all. All your animals, for that matter, and we used to say when we were kids that one day when we were older, which I don't even know if we don't think we're very older now, we're still children at heart. But we'd buy a big farm and we'd bring in all the animals and all the dogs and all the cats, and we'd just take care of them. And we would but then, it becomes very overwhelming, the whole process. But we would do that still, or support others that in fact do that. So yes, I would say my children and my animals, my children, all of my children, my 4.
I love that. I think that's a great answer. I think that's the most honest answer that anyone has ever given to that question. I like that a lot. Just so you know, there are these 2 questions that I sometimes ask people. I'm not going to ask you. One is, what do you most value in your friends? Because then we'd never shut up. Okay, because that's true.
It's true.
We love our friends dearly, and you love yours dearly. Um, who are your favorite writers?
Oh,
You don't. I don't think you ask writers that.
yeah.
I don't think that's fair to do that.
There's so many
Yeah,
good ones. So many good
exactly.
ones. Yeah.
There's some. Before somebody was asking me, who are your favorite authors? So I would. It was at during the infusion, so it wasn't like an interview. So I was like, well, Jane Austen, and then I just start going down a list of like
Yeah.
50,000, and I'm like, yeah, but this person will take you to France, and
Yeah.
then this person's going to take you here, and then Meg has this book, where there's different days, has all this whole page of stuff you can read that you think about all day long, you know. Anyway, okay, so um, I just wasted all that time saying why I wasn't going to ask that question.
You're so funny.
That's totally me
Let me
though.
tell you what I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you why I'm going to tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Well, I'm not gonna tell you.
Right.
But I want to know, which historical figure do you most identify with?
Mm,
I love that question.
That's a great question. Oh my God. Identify with. Wow. That's fantastic, actually.
It's good.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's talk about stream of consciousness. I'm just going to go there. Joan of Arc. That's the first thing that came up.
Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc, and I did a past life regression once where I got my head chopped off, by a guillotine. So I'm not certain that could have happened if I were like, I would.
Wow. So
Yeah.
what did they say about that?
Well, they say a lot about that is the fact that my throat chakra was very clogged, or I didn't feel I could speak my truth. And freeing, obviously, if you get your head cut off for speaking your truth, you're going to be a little bit wary about what you bring to the fore.
Oh my God, I agree.
Joan of Arc, she had a passion, she had a vision, she followed it, and she did it saved so many people, and then got burned.
I was gonna say, to the plight of her own self.
Yeah, what is that? I'm born. It's like the whole Lady Gaga born this way, is like the whole process of, this is who I am. Own your authenticity. That's what comes up when I speak about her. And interestingly enough, my daughter picked Joan of Arc as her confirmation name. So it's like, there you go. So
I don't know any kid that did that.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
She's
what I like?
She's totally like that.
Oh God, she is. And you know what a blessing it is to know that you're raising kids that feel confident enough to own their own truth, or whatever that is at whatever age you are, and then at least kind of be open to whatever comes, as well. And I find that to be a parent win. I'm gonna say,
yeah, I mean,
I win that,
I think every time I see Ava online talking to you, whatever, she already, like, she knows who she is. Like, for certain, or she's lying to us the whole time she's out of her room. But it's like she knows who she is, because she doesn't change.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's such a gift. Like, when you have like a mental, like you have PTSD or whatever, you go through like, not knowing who you are this time. And it's so, I would give anything for 1 week or even 1 day of fully being in the knowing that I was safe.
Yeah. Oh my God. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's, I just think that's a beautiful thing, the way she is. I love that. It's
But Annie, also the fact is that I think she knows, and I think that this is something that you also provide to many people, that there are people who are safe. Like, so if you know that you can be yourself and that people will champion you, will protect you. That was like my mother for me, for certain, that I knew if whatever I would do, she was in my corner. And as long as I had her in my corner, power on. I think that's the same thing with Carmela and you, she was your person. Like this, when you know that, you are more emboldened to show up as yourself, because you know what, why not? and I love that.
She would say, yeah.
Be yourself. There's this great quote, Oscar Wilde, be yourself, everyone else is taken. That's wonderful, because that means if you're not and you're an imitation of somebody else, how boring is that? Like, literally, they've already done that.
I love this. You got me. You're exactly right. Oh my God. With the same in very similar to the quote you just said, Oscar Wilde, right?
Yes.
Okay. Superman, Christopher Reeve. I saw him at a motivational speaking after his accident. It's an essay in my book, and he said he knew he was always going to have to be with himself. Yeah. And he said, but you know what I decided? Who the hell else do I want to be with all the time other than myself? So it's good. Like, and I was bawling because I feel very stuck. I haven't gone anywhere in 3 years, and I get very depressed about it. But when I wrote the essay about Superman, and with the motivational speaking I went to from him, I said, whoa, I was supposed to hear all of this stuff. And I know my situation is not the same as him, but it can turn into his very quickly. Yeah. Right. But anyway, yeah, but
you know what, interesting,
it's almost the same thing.
I love that you said that, because I think it's really amazing that, it goes back to like friendships, right? Time, there's a reason, season, or a lifetime, right? We have reasons and seasons. We cross people's paths. They could be for now, for tomorrow, for the lifetime, or maybe in and out, right? But the point of that is that people come into your life with some kind of message. The question that I ask is, are you paying attention? And clearly with Superman, you were paying attention, so that something that happened in your life, that this whole stiff person's disease is coming up, and you remember that. So you go back and you take the inspiration with you, and then now you have the opportunity to do that for others, and they never will have the opportunity to sit in a room with Superman because
that's true
with us, but you did, and you have that message paid forward. So it's very interesting. And I never, I think everybody has I love the word dharma. They have their purpose and their calling, and they have their different experiences. And that's the greatest thing about authors ever, because when they write good story and good content and good, story, back to that, then you bring these people to a place they might not ever get to go experience themselves, except if they picked up that book and read it. What an amazing magical power that is,
I agree 100%. I don't want us to have to talk about what I'm about to say, because it's controversial, but I have no problem saying it. Mandy could cut it or whatever. But I think authors are supposed to write about whatever they're interested in, what they want to learn more about, as long as they're willing to do the right research. Like, I think we're all meant to be storytellers for others, and that's the biggest way to like gain compassion for one another, is to, like, for me, I wrote a story about the Navajos for a Navajo man's retirement.
Yeah.
And people might say, you had no right to write that. But I followed the rules. I did how they would do it. And, he said it was amazing. He loved it. And that's all that matters, that he loved it. So nobody could say anything to me.
Yeah.
But, I did at the time feel like, ooh, I'm not a Native American.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be writing this. But I wanted to, he was the librarian retiring. I was having a book drive for him. And I couldn't give him a material gift. We were shipping them the library all books. So I wanted they're storytellers.
Yeah.
They tell their brand new baby their birth story the second they pop out.
Amazing.
So like I wanted to be able to tell a story in a Navajo fashion about the books coming to them like birds.
Oh, that's
And
so
I mean, it's a beautiful story. That's in my book too. Not to be, I keep trying to sell my book, but that's not what I'm doing.
It's okay. I think that's really good that you do that, because no one, like, what is it that will intrigue me to pick up something that you write? Well, if I know about it and it interests me and I get curious about it. And I think that that's really amazing. The fact that you would, in honor of this gentleman, this librarian, this Navajo like, you spoke in a language because you probably knew him very well. I
I
mean,
got to know him
yeah,
very well. Yes.
yeah, you probably, and it's not this whole pedantic, I know your people better than you know your people. Like,
Yeah, I
I'm
was
speaking to you in that way.
right.
That's completely
different.
that's completely the, I think, what the intention is around don't write another person's story. It's different when you're doing something in honor of someone. So I see you. I see the beauty of you. I see
Right.
the beauty of your stories, and I'm going to honor you because this is coming through me as a gift to you. So, you can't control the way people receive the gift. That's
Well,
up to them. But you can offer. You can give the offering. Keep your intentions clear and all of the same. And I do believe that it's so funny because I like literally, it's so subjective how people receive what you have to offer. Like some people, I said, with regard to my book, I just told you yesterday, I got a terrible review, and it's funny because
I told you to laugh, but
you know what the funny thing is I triggered something in this lady that she's probably thinking about not past, this is probably my book is going to stay with that person
yes,
much longer than it. And you know what the funny thing is? I think I saw a show when you did on the Right Review with Leslie Rasmussen a while back, and you read a 1-star review of hers, and it was like an amazing review. You're just like,
and they gave her 1 star.
Like, what
it made no sense.
It made no sense. That's the benefit of what we're talking about, is none of this makes much sense, right? And it's how we perceive or take the information as it is given to us. So it's so subjective. It's so different the interconnectedness, like we were talking about before, of different humans, crossing each other's path. Listen, the things that trigger people, it's a karmic mirror. I see.
It's true. You're right.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. I think that you're actually bringing that out, and at the same time, I'm not intending to ever hurt anyone by virtue of what I'm saying or what I write or anything. It's always an offering from the highest place, the highest good. So as long as I say, keep your path clean, right?
Well, look, I was looking up words for things, like it was crazy. I worked very hard in it.
Yeah.
And after his retirement, we were talking on Facebook, and his wife was a Inuit up in Canada. I think that's what they're called there. I can't remember, but a type of Indian, up what they call the Indians up there, but it's a different name.
Okay.
Indigenous, I can't remember, but she hadn't been able to be with him since COVID because they couldn't cross the border. Wow. And so we were talking, and I said, well, so if your wife isn't there, who threw you a party? And he's like, they didn't do anything for me. I said, wait a second. You worked there 43 years and they didn't do anything for you. You got stuck in a snowstorm.
Oh, wow.
Delivering books and like lost your shoes.
Wow.
And they didn't give you a party. I said, okay, thanks for letting me know.
Oh,
ring,
wow.
ring.
Yeah.
I call up the Navajo Nation, like, main number. And I'm like, hey, this is Annie McDonald. I work at World of the Right Review, and we had a huge book drive for the public library at the Navajo Nation land where you are, it'd be to honor, and I can't remember his name right now, in honor of blah 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 blah. Because he worked there 43 years from age 17, and then he became a librarian, like a real librarian. All this stuff. First, he was just driving the little truck to deliver books to houses that couldn't get there. So I said, so I'm calling because I'm doing an article on like what you guys did to celebrate his retirement. And the guy's like,
No kidding.
um, uh, I need to talk to the ladies. He goes, I'll call you back tomorrow. I said, okay. Well, he had a party. They
Yeah,
made
it's
a party
hard.
for him.
I love it.
And it was just like, because I couldn't take that this man got no party.
Yeah.
Because I could tell he was upset when he said, yeah, they didn't do anything. So, okay, since we talked about friendship so much, I'll keep my mouth shut. And I want you to tell me, about what you most value in your friends.
I am not a person who's ever met a stranger. Let's say that, and certainly, I think it comes down to what I said about you before is this acceptance. I mean, that would be it, like the first thing, because when you meet someone and generally their energy, what comes across to you, you can get a reading. And I'm very protective. I think I'm very defensive in many respects. I've been hurt by people in the past before. So I get very wary as to who I allow in my space. I go in with an open heart, but it doesn't mean I'm not protecting that heart. So when they become my friends, it's very difficult to not be in my life. It's like I have my family and I have my, my friends who are family. So it becomes like, and I grew up enough. I mean, I'm Italian American, and we embraced a lot of wonderful people. And when my parents moved to Orlando back in the early 70s, we didn't have immediate family there. So the people who we met became our family, our uncles, aunts. So I would say that was my wonderful experience with my family first and foremost. So it plays a part. It like rolled over into my life. So I loved my husband always says, you can only have 5 friends or something like that. I was like, no, I have so many, like people who know me, like who I would get on a plane to see if I had to. I mean, I would do my best at least. And it's fantastic because time can pass and it doesn't matter. We come back to that point of, oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love your heart. I love who you are. I love your creative nature. You're so incredibly special. And I feel the same. I feel received in the same way. So I
love that. I feel received in the same way. I mean, I think that's the most important part of it, because often we give more than we receive and we're not noticing it. But that's a very important factor in a friendship.
Yeah.
But you forget because that you're giving, and they're not doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a circle. It's that great, wonderful circle. And I laugh because in many ways, I think if you're in someone's presence and they're letting you into their world, that's a huge privilege. And I don't ever take that lightly. And I do my best, to honor that space. It doesn't mean that I don't get in fights with my friends. It doesn't mean that they don't irritate me at times. I do like to believe that communication is there, and I do my best to have that. But there are some times that it goes sideways, let's say, and there are misunderstandings. I've always tried to rectify those, and most of my friends are on the same page. It's like, okay, like we have to get past this. This is you speak your piece and I will speak my piece, and we'll take it under, unless it's completely just horrific what happened. I don't know. I can't even give you an example of that. But
I can. But
yeah. In fact, I'm sure if I thought hard enough, I would. I just think that I've kind of detached with love, I think, is one of the things that I love. But my friends, I'm very blessed. I am very blessed. Very blessed.
Well, you are, but because I consider you a friend, we're all very blessed to have you, It's funny, like, I interviewed Suzanne, and it's like she gave me you and Leslie.
I love it. Yeah,
Like,
no.
she literally was like, girl, you're one of us. Like, like, I
It's
don't know.
true. It's true. And usually if you like that person, you're going to like the people that they are associated with as
That's
well.
true.
And with regard to you, yes, absolutely. Suzanne Simonetti, one of the most wonderful people that I could have ever been blessed to have met during, my book launch during COVID. And I met her on a Zoom screen, right? So, and then look who she's opened my world up to. You, Annie, I would have never had that blessing for certain. So, it's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving.
Right.
One person that really lines with who you are, and then it opens doors for always that something wonderful that's about to happen by virtue of the fact that you said a resounding yes to having that person in your life. So that's the kind of thing I always like say, if I've been hurt so bad and I'm very like wounded, post-traumatic stress, whatever that is, you build up walls. And I always thought that, but when you build up the wall, it keeps the good stuff out too. So you got to remember, I get the protective nature of that, but at the same time, are you willing to go your whole life sacrificing all the good stuff too? And I would like saying, no, 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 no. So
right. I can't. But I did, like you said to me, we're going to walk into 2023 with the right people.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. It took me a little while to get rid of the last one, but you know what? You can't. People can't take my illnesses and tell me what to do about it, or tell me I'm wrong, or I should shoot myself, or all these things, and then say they were writing a scenario about themselves. But when you do that and you're not sick, you're saying what I should be doing. Like, I'm not that stupid. Okay, I'm 53. I know what you're talking about. So after that, I realized, if you're willing to say that to me, I don't want to know what you're saying behind my back. Right. So I had to lose that friendship, and I it was very difficult, but I'm learning, and it's from all of you guys, that, like, I'm worth more.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Like, and I never really thought that before, like, that I was worth more than this stuff, these people. But so my last question is this: what is your motto?
My motto, oh my God, it's got to be my butterflies. It's get ready to dazzle. I believe in you. That is what I say all the time after I write all my mantras. Butterflies, get ready to dazzle. I believe in you. So that belief component is so important, especially in life, and that worthy component, like you just said. So true. If I believe in you, I see your value. I see your worth by virtue of just you showing up in this world as beautiful as you are. And the fact that I believe in you is I believe in your path. I believe in your dharma, your mission, your purpose, your vision, whatever that is. And I do believe, and I love this, my very dear friend Janet Woods said this a long time ago. When we cross each other's path, and we find that person, we see soul to soul, we're here to walk each other home. And that home may be
so true.
It's so
Right?
true. It might be the last day we breathe on this earth. But if I get to spend it with people who I get excited about just being around, and I believe in, and they believe in me, then what difference we can make in the world together. I think it's just, there's your bliss. There's your
I think that's so beautiful, and you're right, about how wonderful that motto is. And I didn't even think of it as a motto, because I read it all the time. And it's funny. No, it's funny because I read all the time. I don't necessarily have the time to respond, like leave a comment or anything. But that doesn't mean I haven't read everything you wrote. And I utilize those tools throughout the day. But those words, I believe in you. Because sometimes I wake up and I'm crying when I wake up.
Yeah.
And it's because I know, one, I'm like crying because it's like, okay, whew, I made it to another day. But then other times I'm crying because I'm like, oh God, I got to go through another day, because it's very tiring. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting to put on my socks.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, everything. And I get so frustrated, you know, but when you say I believe in you, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. Like I got this. I got today. You know, so I just want you to know that even if people aren't leaving comments,
Mm.
that doesn't mean people aren't hearing, seeing, feeling, using what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people, and you know how much I love you, and you know I'd write you, but I have 50,000 things I have to
Yeah.
do.
No, I
You
know.
know, so it's like I want to leave a comment, but it's like I don't want to leave like you know, you're so good, you know, all the time. You know, so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes I like to take a while and write somebody back a thing, or call, or do something different, or call and sing a song to
I
you.
love that. I love it. I
My
love it.
favorite is when I sing to you,
I love it.
because you have like a Broadway star in your house, and I'm going, I love you, you
I
love
love
me.
it. I love it. I love it. You know, Annie, you're singing a song of happiness to me. You're not yelling at me. You're not like, you know, so I take that, you know, and one of the things I, you know, believe, be alive to me is like be live, believe. You know, that's really what it is
Oh, I
you
never
like
thought that.
infuse life into your world. And I was told a long time ago, you know, it's funny because my mother used to say this all the time, and I would hate to say I took it for granted. It's kind of what you're saying. You hear it all the time, so you just imagine that this is the way it is. But she used to always say, "I'm so proud of you." And you know, that pride factor, and it's not even a contradiction to humility or whatever that is, but it's just that someone sees you living your life, showing up every day, even if it's hard to put your damn sock on, you know, and doing it how you do it, like whatever that is. But damn, I'm proud of you. You know, it's like
Thank you.
it's I see you where you are, and it's the acceptance. And if that's where we are today, that's where we are. There are days and there are days, and you know, if you called me yesterday to do an interview, it might not have been as fun as today. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, you
I
know,
have days too. Yeah, where I'm just like, yeah, not today.
not today.
I'm not feeling it today, but I was feeling it today.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It means a lot to me, because my cognitive skills are getting less. They hopefully they'll fix it, but like Mandy's like, okay, well let's do it this way, because then you can still have Andy's antics. I mean, she's works with me,
That's
so
amazing.
she's really good. Like she's not saying, oh, okay,
Yeah.
go down to the pasture.
But
You
that's a
know,
good
we're done
friend.
with you. Yeah,
That's a good friend.
she's wonderful, and her magazine, Well Read Magazine, is wonderful, and I hope everyone reads it. And yours will be in next month's issue, and this will be played on Well Read Magazine's YouTube channel, which has a lot of fun stuff to watch. And she makes the most beautiful graphics with everything.
That's
So you're
awesome.
going to love it. So I need you to send me a picture of yourself. I really appreciate all the time you spent with me, and find out how the heck we can see Roxy Andrews.
Oh my God, look at this. Well, you know, one of my favorite months is April, and I love the fact that
That's
that's
my
how it
wedding
aligns.
month.
It's the transforming dreams into reality, and I always imagine all the wonderful things happen in April. It was a month my mother passed away, but I've turned it into something
My mom
where
too. Wait a second.
yeah, when?
Mine is April 5th,
Oh, wow.
not 2012. Our 5-year anniversary.
Wow.
And but I liked, and it's funny you have the hat on. My mom was love.
She
My
was like,
stepmom, she was love, the epitome, and she was like love walking around. So like, um, Bonnie comes sauntering in like she's Heidi Klum. But anyway, um, what was I saying? Oh no, it's Tom sauntering.
Thomas, like Heidi Klum. Hey, I'm not saying
Yeah,
anything, but
no,
it's
he's
awesome.
not. He's not. He's not.
Yeah.
No, who? What was I saying?
Here,
She's
that Carmela was love, and she died on April 5th, and
she died on April 5th. So, okay, I had been taking care of her for 9 months. I think she waited till April 5th
wow, your
so
anniversary.
that I would celebrate love that day
Oh,
and not loss.
oh, beautiful.
I believe that of her.
Wow.
Like that she said, okay, today's the day I'll do it. Because Tom's, when we got the call, I was a healthcare proxy. So I had to go over and sign the papers and everything. And Tom
Oh,
goes, oh my God. He goes, another death on another important day in your life. I can't take this. I said, no, she did this on purpose.
yeah.
So we would celebrate love. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
We celebrate her love and our love because it's our
Oh,
anniversary.
that's beautiful.
What day was your wedding?
Well, my wedding was February 19th, but my mother passed away
Oh,
on
sorry.
She passed away on April 12th. And
Wow.
so right behind 2011. So she was a year before your
Oh,
mom. But it's interesting because my mother was very spiritual, very, very spiritual. And I do feel her. Like it's as if, we feel her more so then, and we have an opportunity to celebrate her, which is what you're just talking about with Carmela. And so I always very intentionally find April transforming dreams into reality, because what the seeds were planted, they grow in the spring, transformation, right? The whole process of winter passing and then spring, the life is blooming again. So it is that whole, resurrection. People in the Easter season, they believe in that, but also
right, right.
rebirth, like the rebirth when everything comes out fresh and new again. And she's just beyond the veil for me. So she's able to help me birth my dreams into reality. And I feel that April is that for me. So perfect, Annie, with you.
That's so cool. That's so great. I love that. But yeah, I mean, Carmela's the same. Carmela's the same way. I don't think she's far. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are psychics, and they all say she's with me.
Oh yeah, I feel
Uh,
her here. I feel her here. I feel her here with you, and I'm not even in the same room with you. I'm in the same Zoom room, but not.
it's so weird how everyone feels that.
Yeah.
Has any type of intuition or psychic ability, but they all say that. It's so funny. But we loved each other very, very much.
I
Like,
know.
and even if I did something wrong, it was never a big deal. Like, I don't know. That's what I loved about her the most. It's
Except
like she loved me no matter what.
talk about living the legacy of Carmela. She accepted you and you accept everyone. So that is what we do. We live that in honor of those who showed us so brilliantly how they live their life. We continue that on by virtue of what we decide to do in our own. And, it's kind of like what I was like, I love the butterflies, like we wake up and we are cognizant that we are living the change that we experience has us at a different level. And having known Carmela, having known my mother, or anyone who's passed on that significantly impacted your life, it changes you in such a way that you're flying higher and you see from that wonderfully soaring level the world around you. And you get to show people that. And
Right.
what a gift. And I never knew, but I feel like I do through you. And through how you are in this world, which, how beautiful is that?
I mean, yeah, I do owe it to her a lot. I could talk about her forever, but yeah, I do owe it to her a lot because I had the most talks with her.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from her.
Wow.
So, and her mom.
Wow.
And her brother. I need to call her brother. I'm so
Hey, gotta call her brother.
Yeah, he's in Florida, so
living next to Roxy Andrews.
He might be.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you, and I will send you everything, the links and everything once it's released. It comes out the first of the month.
Awesome. Wonderful.
And Meg, you're magnificent. You're one of my most favorite people, and you definitely shine the brightest. I gotta cover my eyes.
I love you very much, Annie.
I love you
pleasure.
too.
This has been a joy. Joy, perfect happiness. There you go. Right then. You just got my definition in an hour and 38 with you. I get to spend time with you. There you go.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you. It was an extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Love you, Annie. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.